Hi everybody, it's Sarah from A Wild Rumpus back this week to talk about bullet journaling. So this week we're going to talk about layout. I personally have a million things going on in my life, and so I use my bullet journal for a lot of different things. One of the biggest things I use it for is my daily tasks. I definitely want to keep track of what I need to do from day to day, and so that can get really hard. It can take up a lot of space and all of that. So I've incorporated things into my bullet journal that allow me to have master lists of stuff that need to get done and all of that. So I'm going to share some of that with you today. I'm going to share with you how I meal plan for a week, but I want to talk to you guys about layouts and how you use them and what works best for you. So let's jump in with some different layouts that I have loved using and ones that I hope to start using in 2017. The first thing I want to share with you guys is how I lay out my bullet journal for the year. I do lots of different stuff, but one of the biggest things I do is making sure that I have a future log. So of course we start with our index. This was my middle bullet journal of this year. So I have my key, my color code for all the different stuff that I color code, and then my index of what goes where when. This book was the first time I ran out of space on a one-page index, and so I switched over to the 917 and then barely used the index at all. So starting in 2017, I'm really hoping to really use my index more to keep track of stuff, because I have a whole bunch of really big projects that are happening in the first quarter of the year that I'm going to be using the bullet journal to track. So I'm really going to need to use my index a lot better. So that's always right there at the front of the book. For future logs, I print out these really awesome calendars that I made, and I will make sure that we have a copy for 2017 available for you guys as well. For me, seeing things on a calendar makes a huge difference for me visually, so I want to make sure that I keep up with that. So doing this is the best way for me to future log. After all of the months separate, I always make sure to put in a calendar for this year and the next year, because of my photography business, I book things so far in advance. I need to be able to at a glance look and see if I'm available or not. So that's a great way for me to do my future log. I often keep lists of things that I need to blog for my photography business or for A Wild Rumpus, and having a master list of things is really important to me. Like knowing I can go in and be like, oh yeah, I forgot I can blog this, because sometimes I'm like, poor Jill. I'm like, what am I gonna blog? And she's like, I don't know your life, so figure it out. So having a master list of that kind of stuff is always really great. So then we have the start of the month, and for me, I always start my month off with listing again the goals that I have for each part of my life. So everything from my personal goals to my business goals to stuff I want to do around the house. I keep a track of that for what I want to do each month. As time has worn on, I've gotten more realistic with myself, so I try not to make it too insane. Like in a month, I'm really not going to be able to do 400 things. So I try to keep it to things that are manageable and things I think I can actually get done. The other thing I tried this year was habit tracking. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It was, it's been a good thing for me to have, and it's nice to kind of look. Again, this is something I made in InDesign, and then just kind of printed it out, changed it from month to month as I needed, and went from there. I did try doing this by hand before, and I hated it. This is another great place to keep this kind of stuff, to keep goals about fitness and all of that, and that's something I really hope to use my bullet journal for more in 2017 as well. But I also keep our house budget where I write down, I have a master list of everything that's due, and then I just go in and I write if the amount has changed or not. There's things that the amount is always the same, like mortgages and payment plans, or your payment to the gym, what have you. So those always stay the same. So, but the stuff that's variable, like utilities, phone bills, that kind of stuff, those are the things that I write in. And then I write the day that they're due, the day they were paid, and once they've been received. So it's a great way for me to kind of keep track of everything as we go. And then the next big part for me is doing a weekly layout. I had surgery on my leg last week, and so last week I was kind of in my bed a lot. There was a lot of me watching Frasier, being high on Norco, and playing around with some layouts that I wanted to try in my bullet journal in the coming year. There were a lot of bullet journal videos too. So this is what my weekly layout used to look like. This was kind of how I did it before, where I would have the week from Monday to Sunday, and then this would be my appointments and this would be the events. I would have my brain dump list, editing, blogging, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to change it up a little bit. And so I looked around the interwebs and I found this layout. And I realized how versatile it was and how I could really change things up. So this was me just trying it out in my bed watching Frasier, trying to see what I thought would work for me and realizing where I wanted to make some changes to it and what things I would end up keeping. So Monday, I start my weeks on Monday just because it makes more sense with my job. We go Monday through Sunday. I put things that I want to remember that I would tend to forget if I didn't write them down. So a little bit of a brain dump. I do some self-care tracking and I try to keep that really simple. It's things I want to do every single day, but it's not something necessarily that I want to be a huge list. So for me, it's making sure that I'm active, I take my vitamins, and I get my steps. I host 2 podcasts, so I keep track of like what episode I'm editing and recording and that kind of stuff. Keeping track of water and sleep is important to me as well. Editing for my photography business, for the podcasts, for a Wild Rumpus. I have a lot of editing to do, so I want to make sure that my editing for the week is listed out. And so what I do is the top is my appointments that I have or events that day, and then this is my publishing schedule for the blogs and the podcasts and that kind of stuff. So that's something that keeps me on track, where I can look at it and know what my week is going to look like. Oh, before we get to dailies, this is my food log that I was talking about, and I'll show you guys right now a hyperlapse of how I made this. Doing a meal plan is really important to me because I would lose my brain if I didn't. So these 2 pages encompass where I plan our meals, and then this is my shopping list and what I need to do to prep for everything that I'm going to be cooking that week. This usually is something that I do either Saturday night or Sunday morning, and then Sundays are kind of my prep days. And then my dailies. So I'm going to show you how I put this together in a quick time lapse. So this is my stuff for today. Again, I'm color coded. And I really am showing you, these are the absolute things that have to be done today. And sometimes they get done and sometimes they don't. Some people use 1 page, for several days. I have very rarely ever used a page for for more than 1 day. So I really love having a daily page like this where I can go and do all sorts of stuff. So it's really great. But what I did as well that I'm super proud of is my holiday gift giving list. It makes me so happy. Like I said, I'm not much of an artist, but I wanted to make this fun and cheerful. I have not had an easy time getting in the holiday spirit this year, and this helped a lot. So once they're filled in, it means that I've purchased them. Most of these were purchased from my bed on Amazon, but it makes me really happy to have this where I can see it, know what I need to go get, know what I still don't have any idea about. Is anyone else having a hard time shopping for their kids? So yeah, those are the layouts that I use. I'm planning on adding some new stuff in the coming year. I'm gonna add a savings tracker. My husband and I are staring down the barrel of our 40th birthdays in a couple of years, and I have some big plans for my husband's 40th, but it's going to take a couple of years of savings for me to make that happen. So I need to start doing that now, and I want a good way to track it. So I'm going to find a way to track saving for his 40th birthday celebration. And then I want to take the kids to Disneyland next year as well, so I want to do some tracking about that. I'd love to know what your favorite layouts are. If you've bullet journaled before, like what are the things that you have found the most useful? But I'd love to know what you guys are using or what you have used or things that have inspired you, so feel free to share in the comments and send us a picture. Let us know what you're doing. We would love to see it. You can tag us on Instagram at HeyWildRumpus, H-E-Y Wild Rumpus. Tag us in a picture. We would love to see what you guys are doing with your bullet journals and all that kind of stuff. So we're really excited, and we hope that you guys are too. Next week we'll be talking about getting our 2017 bullet journals put together. We'll hope you join us for that, and thanks so much for joining us on A Wild Rumpus.